Hello friends, in this video we will discuss about a very important topic in C++, that is inline function. First, we will come through the topic of some information of inline function with the help of its syntax and example. Then we will discuss about the restrictions, use of inline function, advantages and disadvantages of inline function. In C, we have used macro function, an optimization technique used by compiler to reduce the execution time. Inline function is introduced, which is an optimization technique used by compiler especially to reduce the execution time. We will also cover what, how, why, and when inline function is used. Now, what is inline function? The inline function are a C++ enhancement feature to increase the execution time of program. If a function is inline, the compiler places the code of that function at its point where the function is called at the compile time. It means function can be instructed to compiler to make them inline so that compiler can replace those function definition wherever those are being called. To make a function inline, a keyword inline is placed before the function name while its declaration. It is a request to the compiler, not a command. If a function is big, then compiler can ignore the inline request and treat the function as normal function. To declare a function inline, we need to place a keyword inline before the function name, and then the function body is defined. In this program, we have declared a function square of return type int inline and have passed a parameter of type int in the function. Then we have called the function from the main function, passing the parameter whose value is initialized to 3. So we get the output, that is 9. In this program, the compiler first replaces the function calling with its definition and then executes the program. Now, why to use inline function? In many places, we create the function for small work functionality which contains simple and less number of instructions. When a normal function call instruction is encountered, the program stores the memory address of the instruction immediately following the function call statement. Load the function being called into the memory, copies argument value, jump to the memory location of the called function, executes the code. Too much runtime overhead. Thus, with the inline function, the compiler does not have to jump to another location to execute the function and then jump back as the code of the called function is already available to the calling program. When to use an inline function? Function can be made inline as per programmer's need. Some useful recommendations are mentioned as: use inline function when performance is needed. Use inline function over macros. Prefer to use inline keyword outside the class with the function definition to hide implementation detail. Restrictions of inline function. Remember, inlining is only a request to the compiler, not a command. Compiler can ignore the request for inlining. Compiler may not perform inlining in such circumstances. If a function contains a loop, if a function contains static variable, if a function is recursive, if a function return type is other than void and the return statement doesn't exist in function body, if a function contains switch or go to statement. In above all the cases, the compiler will decline the inlining the function. Advantages of inline function. Function calls overhead doesn't occur in the inlining a function. It also saves the overhead of push pop variables on the stack when function is called. It also saves overhead of a return call from a function. When you inline a function, you may enable compiler to perform context-specific optimization on the body of function. Such optimizations are not possible for normal functions call. Other optimization can be obtained by considering the flow of calling context and the called context. Inline function may be useful for embedded system because inline can yield less code than the function call, preamble, and return. Disadvantages. Every time a function is called, it takes time in executing a series of instructions. In the following ways of execution, it takes more time. First, when we call a function, then the compiler jumps to the function and compiles the code and saves it in the register and push arguments into the stack and then return to the function called and executes the program. Thank you friends. If you like the video, just comment, like and share.